Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 video. So in this video, I did a video like this on Black Ops 3 and people seem to love it. And what it was is basically how to make your own overpowered class setup or how to make the perfect class setup. And what I do in the video is I basically go through the whole create a class because I'm, make a lot of different class setup videos, a lot of best class setups, but I go through and sort of talk about each attachment, each weapon, and each perk and like in what scenario you would want to use those in. So giving a little bit of intel so then you guys can go out and make your perfect, amazing, best class setups depending on what game mode you're playing, what perks you like, what gear you like, and what gun you like. So it's a little more customization there. If you guys could smack a like in this video, I would really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and smack that like button. I will have another upload like in the middle of the night for you guys. If you guys can smack that like button, absolutely crazy. So go ahead and smack that. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. I really do appreciate the support lately, and that's why, like I said, I'm going to upload another video later as long as you guys are supporting this one, which I'm sure you guys will. So first of all, when it comes down to picking a class setup, the most important thing, of course, that you have to take account into, and in this game it's a little more complicated, so we have a little more to talk to, but the first thing is going to be your weapon of choice. Now, when it comes down to weapons in this game, I think all categories of weapons are fairly good at this point. I'd say SMGs are probably still the weaker one. The majority of the time, you're probably going to want to pick either an assault rifle, an SMG, or a tactical rifle, or the Titan LMG, which is a really good LMG. The other ones are also amazing, but that Titan is just so damn good. So if you're a submachine gun player, I would probably say GKS, Spitfire, SOG 9mm, those are ones you're going to want to stick with. And when it goes to picking your gun, it all depends what you want to accomplish with it. So, for example, in this gameplay, I was using the Maddox for the majority of it because I wanted to play a fast-paced assault rifle style of play. That fits the Maddox, that fits the KN. If I wanted to play a fast-paced SMG style of play, that would fit the Spitfire or the Cordite. If I wanted to play a slower-paced SMG, that would fit the MX9 or the GKS. So you guys sort of get the trend of how picking the weapon depends on your playstyle. If I want to sit back and camp, the ICR is great. If I want to rush, the Maddox is probably better because I have different things available to me like stock, quick draw, stuff that the ICR doesn't. Well, the ICR doesn't have stock, it doesn't have fast mags available to it right there. So you guys sort of get the thing. And as far as the top weapons in this game, that's going to be a video I'm going to be uploading very soon to sort of talk about the top 5 weapons after patch 1.05. So that's what it comes down to for picking your weapon. Now, the next thing is in this game and the create a class system, we're working with a pick 10 system, right? So picking your weapon, that's 1 point. Next thing you have to think about is immediately, do you want an optic on that sight, or on that gun? For tactical rifles, I always put a red dot or a reflex sight, and for other weapons, it's up to personal preference. So MX9, assault rifles, SMGs, it's do you like the default sight of that weapon? The majority of the time, in my opinion, I don't like the default sights of many of them. I mean, the Rampart is okay, the KN is okay. As far as SMGs go, the GKS is okay. SOG 9mm is pretty good. Spitfire is pretty good. The iron sights of these weapons aren't bad, but certain ones are ones that I would stay away from. The Vapors iron sights, I stay away from. I stay away from the Maddoxes, and I'll just slap an ELO sight on there. So that's your next decision in making your perfect class setup. And then you have attachments. I pretty much always go with, if I'm not using an operator mod, I always have at least 2 other attachments aside from the optic, and sometimes even 3. So depending on whether, right here is your first big decision, which is, do I want to go with either 3 attachments, and use my wild card on that, or 4 perks. This is the decision you're going to have on most of the time when it comes down to it. Is do you want to go 3 attachments or 4 perks? And most of the time when it does come down to it, you're going to want to go with the attachments because I think attachments are stronger in this game. So it depends, right? So say the weapon that you pick is the, hypothetically, the KN57, we'll say, right? And then you pick, of course, to run a reflex sight, or say you run an ELO sight, right? So that's 2 points. So now I want to deck out the KN57 with attachments. And as far as making the perfect class setup, as far as attachments go, this one's kind of complicated for me to talk about because every weapon has different attachments, and that's why I recommend going with the attachments that you know are good. Maybe you've seen them in a previous best class setup video of mine, maybe you've tested them out, and there's certain attachments that you always want to take when they're available. Number 1, on assault rifles, you always want to take stock if it is available because it's not available on every single one. Another one is hybrid mags. You always want stock and hybrid mags on hybrid mags every single gun, pretty much stock every single gun except the SMG. So those 2 are of course available on my KN57, so I picked those 2. And then my third attachment, I'm going to pick what I think to be the best, which will probably be the quick draw because I need that more than grip. You can do this with any sort of weapon. For example, if I'm making the class setup with the say I'm making making it with the cordite in it. Cordite, yes, I'll slap on an elo sight, and then when it comes down to the attachments, of course, I need grip because it's the cordite. I'm going to need that grip. Long barrel is another one that you want to prioritize on SMGs, and then when it comes down to like a cordite, I don't really need any of those third attachments. Maybe I'll slap on a laser sight as that third one. But you guys see what I'm sort of doing there as far as it goes with, you know, 3 attachments or 4 perks. So once you have that, your next decision is gear. For gear, it's mainly between acoustic sensor if you're great at sound whoring and you like to play like basically like play doorways and stuff. On certain maps, acoustic is great. Comsec device if you want to play for big streaks, which is usually how I play, and then let the streaks go ham to get, you know, your 80 plus, 100 plus kill gameplays. And then stim shot if you want to go all out, just rushing, hip fire, spraying with SMG. Stim shot can be super duper great for that. And then when it comes down to perks, because now you guys sort of, the attachments is the hardest thing to talk about because it all depends on the weapon, and that's why, you know, this video is sort of going to give you guys an idea of how to navigate the created class system and make amazing setups. But you should still watch my individual class setup videos because that's where I really take time and analyze each gun individually. For example, with the GKS Unicorn upload last night, I was taking my time and testing out long barrel 1 and 2 versus grip 1 and 2 versus quick draw is that third attachment versus long barrel 1 and 2, and grip is the third attachment. So basically, like, I put my time in and I test them out. So as far as gear goes, that's how it works. And then you should have either 3 perks or potentially 4 perks if you're running 2 attachments. So in this hypothetical class setup, I throw on an optic and 3 attachments. So then, of course, I would only have 3 points available because it costs 1 point for the gun, 1 point for the optic, 3 points for the attachments, 1 point for the primary wild card, 1 point for the gear, and that's 7 if I'm doing my math correctly. I'm doing it on my fingers right now. So I have 3 perks left. Now, perk 1 is the most competitive slot. All of these perks are good. Now, perks are something I still have an issue with in this game, and that's why I say usually on most class ups you're going to want to go with 3 attachments in that optic, because gun, you know, putting stuff and investing in your gun is the best way to do it in this game, in my opinion. But first, the first perk setup, if you're going to use a perk greed, if you have an extra slot for that, perhaps you only did 2 attachments, I would use perk 1 greed. Scavenger is absolutely amazing in perk 1 if you want to go on streaks. However, I use crash as a specialist, which basically gives me the ammo, so I don't have to worry about that. Engineer is great for basically looking for enemy score streaks and mesh mines and different stuff like that. And then, of course, flak jacket counters basically most of your explosives. And then tac mask, which is my go-to perk 1, basically counters increased resistance to 9-bang, concussion, razor wire, reactor core, seeker, tempest fire, and counter UAV. So you can see it counters a lot of the specialist BS in this game. So that's why I personally take tac mask. But like I said here, it all depends on what you're trying to do, and that's why all 4 of these are very, very good. You can basically go with any of them. Perk 2, there's not much of a discussion. You always want gung-ho as far as perk 2. Dexterity doesn't work as good as it says it works. I think once they buff that, unless that was already done in the hidden buff, but I didn't see anything about it with the patch notes. But that's kind of weird because like they buff Ghost in like a hidden secret buff, I guess, to test it out, test out the numbers and stuff before they announce it. But yeah, gung-ho, always perk 2. There should be no discussion here. You should always be picking gung-ho. It basically allows you to recover from sprint faster, move at full speed while reloading, and fire your weapon and equipment while sprinting. And well, the fact that everyone is using this perk 2, you sort of have to use it to keep up. Dexterity isn't that good because it doesn't work fully. Cold-blooded is good and it counters quite a few things. So that's another one that got a decent buff and is pretty strong. Lightweight gives you like a 4% movement increase, isn't that big of a deal. And then Skulker, move fast while crouching prone. I think because you're not going to be crouching prone as often as you think, it's not as good as a priority. So gung-ho in that perk 2 slot. And perk 3 is another one where it comes down to personal preference. Ghost is great, especially in a game mode like TDM or Dom where the UAV spam is going to be there. Team Link is amazing. It lets you to see friendly teammates through walls and reveal fog of war circle around you and your teammates. This is a decent perk, honestly, and it's especially great for hardcore so you don't shoot your teammates. I very, very much recommend Team Link in hardcore. Dead Silence, of course, great because it counters people listening. It counters people using the acoustic sensor. Well, doesn't counter it fully, but resists detection fairly strongly, and then allows you to basically, by countering your own footsteps, hear more footsteps. Tracker in this game, see digital imprint and of enemy footsteps and reveal receive an alert on your HUD when revealed in enemy fog of war. I don't think it's that good. So you can sort of get a gist from this video what I'm talking about when I'm breaking down a class setup. I think that the most important thing is never sacrifice your gear, and most of the time don't take a secondary and don't take an equipment. The reasoning why I don't take a secondary is you usually don't really, they're not that strong in this game. You don't really need them most of the time with having hybrid mags or fast mags and stuff that I usually take on a gun. And then don't take an equipment because that basically just wastes a slot. You can choose between using these specialist equipment at no cost, these assigned specialist equipment, the special issue, or spend a point to get either the trophy, the combat axe, the frag, the Molotov, or the concussion. Really doesn't make any sense, especially if I'm using the crash specialist. I don't want to give up those assault packs, which give me so much ammo and then so many more points by dropping for my teammates, by dropping for myself, and boosting the kills. So I really don't want to do that as far as it goes. So hopefully this video gives you guys an idea of the class setups and how they work and how to make your own overpowered or perfect class setup. Of course, more actual, direct class setup videos coming in the future. Top 5 guns coming out very soon. So smack a like on this video if you guys made it to the end. Subscribe if you guys aren't already. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Support this one, that would be amazing. And I'm out. Peace. See you guys in the next one.